If it hurts, game breaks, no get you, know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, do the game, tap, this win it. First shit again, we're here for the first minute. Carry body, keep it every 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Man, I mean, these last 3 years have been like instrumental in my development as a young man and maturity, but I found home here and made a lot of great relationships. Really have enjoyed my time around my teammates and coaches, and it's created like a second home for me. And really, this is like my first home. So like I'm a kid from Southern California, and now whenever someone's like, "When you going home?" I'll be talking about going back to Knoxville, and man, it's a very special place to me. All the emotions haven't really settled in yet.
The culture that Hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standard is to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. We play for another. We fight for another. Every fight, every play, every round. Hey, Tennessee on 2. 1, 2. Tennessee. Ball, that team ready. Ball, that team ready. Ball, that team ready.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talkin VAWLS that my guy BoogieBentley runs, so shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Oh, mountain mama, Lord, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Miner's a lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, a misty taste of moonshine, a teardrop in my eye. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Oh, mountain mama, Lord, take me home. Country roads.
Good morning, Talkin VAWLS Network. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's BoogieBentley. Who am I? I'm a guy wearing an App State hat, listening to a song about West Virginia, doing a YouTube show about the Tennessee Vols. I'm confused this morning, but I'm excited to be here. Let me tell you something. This Monday feels way better than last Monday felt. But let's see who's hanging out. Johnny Price is here. Says, good morning, boys. Checking in from Franklin, North Carolina. What is up, Johnny? Coach Jay is here bright and early. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning where he's at. Slept weird. Leg fell asleep. Pins and needles. What's wrong with you? Tim Rice is here. What's up, Tim? Justin Sanday in the house. Black Metal Banjo is there. Says, who got my back? Drops a $5 super chat just to say door fee. We appreciate that, Black Metal Banjo. Door fees tips are appreciated. So thank you, Banjo, for that. If not, smash the thumbs up. That's quick, free, and easy. Let's just jump into it, man. Let's jump right into the show. Let's get Cainer on here to save this. Who knows? Maybe he'll pop in wearing a Vanderbilt hat. You never know.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good morning, Cainer. What's going on, brother?
Didn't have a chance to go by the local Goodwill and grab a Vanderbilt hat, so sorry about that. I don't have one.
It is a weird week, man. It's a weird week because if you told me, and I've been saying this all weekend, if you told me that all we had to do was beat Vanderbilt, we would be 10-2 and we would be on our way to the college football playoff, I would say sign me up 10 times out of 10. But then you look around the world of college football and it's like, how many teams lost this past weekend that were favorites on the road against an inferior opponent? But hey, it feels good to be back in control of things going into this last week.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday was wild, and it gave us a snapshot of why we just love college football. And college football is just so wild and wacky. Even, I mean, yeah, Saturday benefited Tennessee so much, but take that out of the picture. I mean, you had A&M lose to Auburn in 4 overtimes. You had Oklahoma shock Alabama. You had Florida, which, I mean, I felt like we could have saw that coming, right? I mean, kind of like you can see that team playing better. That defense is playing better. Billy Napier's never lost the locker room. DJ Lagway is going to be a problem. And, like, you could kind of almost see that happen in slow motion. So, I mean, just so much fun. And then, of course, you know, all of us that were, I don't want to say bashing Indiana because I think it's hilarious. I saw a tweet this morning from, I would assume, a national media member saying, you know, SEC media spent all week last year bashing Indiana when, you know, 3 SEC teams lost to 5-5 Florida and all this. And I'm just like, well, I mean, Indiana literally has not beaten one team with a, you know, with a winning record. So, and that's still true. And Indiana's virtually, even though getting blown out by 23 points is virtually a lock for the college football playoff. It's just crazy. It's wild. But obviously for Tennessee, it worked out. You needed just a little bit of help, and you got a whole lot of help. Win and you're in. And it's not going to be easy, but there's going to be nobody in the world that wants to play spoiler more than Vanderbilt. So it's I think it's going to be an exciting one this weekend for sure.
I think that's what, man, it's like just last weekend, like you said, we laid out the list of things that we needed to happen. And it wasn't that this entire list needed to happen. We just needed one thing to happen. But so much happened that I think here we sit going into the game against Vanderbilt, and now you start questioning, can Tennessee actually host that first-round playoff game? You know, they dropped the AP poll yesterday. College football playoff rankings coming out tomorrow night is going to be a whole lot of fun. But let's just pull up the AP poll, and we'll look at the college football playoff rankings from last week. You had Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Tennessee rounding out the top 11. What do you think the college football playoff rankings are going to look like when they drop on Tuesday night? And a lot's going to change, right? I see people out there, the ESPN predicting Tennessee and Georgia playing in the first. That's not happening. Once next week plays out, the SEC championship plays out, Tennessee is not getting Georgia in the first round.
Well, I didn't go all the way through 1 through 12, but I essentially did a mock. You know, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning after all the craziness. I kind of did like a little mock, you know, college football playoff seeding where up until where I think Tennessee will go. And, you know, 1 Oregon, 2 Texas, 3 ACC team, pick your choose, Miami or SMU, whoever you project. 4 Boise State is the 4th highest conference champion. 5 Ohio State, 6 Penn State, 7 Notre Dame. I do think Georgia will be 8th, and I think Tennessee will come in as that 9th seed. But just like you said, I think Georgia's going to win the SEC, so it's going to take care of itself. Even if it doesn't, I could see Georgia moving up and flipping with Notre Dame. I could see Tennessee sliding back to number 10. I don't think the College Football Committee is interested in seeing a rematch on something we just had. Not to say Tennessee can't go down there and win the game, but we just saw that 2 weeks ago. And so I think they're going to want some variety. So I think Tennessee's going to come in around the 7th or around the 9th or 8th seed. So right on the door of being a host seed. And depending on what happens this weekend, what happens conference championship weekend, I wholeheartedly believe that, man, there's a chance Tennessee can be hosting a playoff game. I went into Neyland Stadium on Saturday saying, well, here we go. This is it. Bob Kessling's final game at home to call the Vol Radio Network. And then even leaving, I'm like, yeah, this is still probably it. Even after seeing all the chaos and then going to bed Sunday morning, it's like, shoot, we might be back there. I mean, how crazy is that? But good weekend for Tennessee, and Tennessee's going to be back in the field to play this week, no doubt.
Yeah, interesting to watch this last week of games and see how it plays out. The teams in front of Tennessee on the AP poll. Oregon plays Washington. Look, Ohio State and Michigan, I get it. Michigan's not a good football team. That's a rivalry game, and the way that college football is right now, nothing would surprise me. You got Texas A&M. I think that's a good football game. Penn State, Maryland, Notre Dame going on the road to play USC, Georgia, and Georgia Tech. There are a lot of teams in front of Tennessee that could lose and really shake things up. Scott Bennett's been a member for 26 months, says, let's go, Vols fan. Hit the like button. That's the easiest thing you could do is hit that thumbs up. Hit that share button. Let people know that we are live for Locked On Talking Vols on a Monday morning. Scott Bennett also drops a $5 super chat. Says, cover charge, got to finish strong. I hope we don't get screwed by the committee. Tennessee wins, they're in. That's it. That's why the name of the stream is just beat Vandy. That's all you have to do. All you got to do is beat Vanderbilt, and you're in. Retro with this is a good question. I like this. Retro, the Georgia fan. Retro, the Georgia fan. You know, I mean, he comes in, he drops a $10 super chat. He donates money to a Tennessee channel. I mean, you got.
I thought you said there were no good Georgia fans,
well,
Boogie.
You have to, Eric. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. I still believe that to this day. But Retro paid $10, so we'll read his comment. So due to the SEC cannibalism, Indiana is a playoff lock. I'm scared the committee will leave Georgia out if we lose in the SEC championship.
See, I don't think so. And again, we'll never know until we see it, right? But I mean, I thought all season long. Then again, the last month, I thought the ACC was a one-bid league. So I guess anything's possible right now. But man, I have a hard time. Again, I'll continue to say this. I have a hard time believing the loser of the SEC championship, the extra game the conference is forcing you to play since they want to make all this money. I have a hard time believing that they're going to punish that team that falls down to 3 losses, especially a team like Georgia. Gosh, if Alabama was in there, I mean, ESPN and everybody's doing anything they can just to hold on to Alabama as much as they can. But like Georgia's resume is really good. Strength of schedule is number 1 in the country. So I doubt that. But again, like I thought a lot of things heading into Saturday, and again, the ACC is going to have 2 teams in this playoff now. I would have never thought that before Saturday, and I don't know. It's wild, but we'll see what happens. I still don't think that'll happen, but we don't know until we see it play out. This is year 1.
I will continue to beat the drum that if Georgia goes in and loses and they have 3 losses, they belong in the playoff. You cannot penalize teams for going and playing in their conference championship.
No.
You cannot do that, because if you are going to do that, guess what? We're losing conference championships. We're not going to have Atlanta anymore. We're not going to have conference. Why would you do it? Why would you want to go play in a conference championship if that is going to penalize you in the long run? So I will continue to beat that drum, whether that's in favor of Georgia, Alabama, whoever. It doesn't matter. You just can't do that. I don't see how you can penalize those teams. So chaos in college football, it excites me. Tennessee now, I think it's almost 75% odds of making the college football playoff. That's because they have to go beat Vanderbilt. But again, the chaos we just saw last weekend, Vegas puts out the odds. Tennessee favored by 11.5. You still got to go take care of business. Let's go backwards. Let's go talk about UTEP briefly. The most boring first quarter in the history of college football. 0-0 at the end of the quarter. 5 punts, an interception, a missed field goal. Nico was 3 of 7 for 27 yards, and 13 of those 27 came on a screenplay right before the end of the first quarter. Then Tennessee remembered, hey, we're in a game, went and took care of business. What are your thoughts over the win over UTEP and Senior Day?
So it was such a good day for Tennessee, but that first 15 minutes, it coincided with this, Boogie, and I'm sure you'll ask me about this in a moment, even though I don't have much to add. You know, David Sanders is at Ohio State, okay? You've got Tennessee being outgained 5 first downs to 2, 70 some odd yards to 20 some odd yards at the end of the first quarter. It looks like Tennessee's just sleepwalking offensively. And then also at that time, Indiana was beating Ohio State. So, I mean, the sky is falling, right? I mean, I'm not trying to make a lot of the situation. There's a lot of football left to be played, but there was a lot of frustration. But then everything changed, right? I mean, Sanders was still at Ohio State that weekend, but obviously Ohio State did what everybody with a functioning brain thought was going to happen and crush Indiana by 23 points. The only team that played with the polls. I'll continue to say that a million times because there are people that just don't have common sense. But Tennessee came in and scored 28 points in the second quarter, 21 points in the third quarter. And went on to win 56-0. So, I thought Nico started off really poorly. I did. I thought he responded really well, and I thought the coaching staff did a great job of making some adjustments. They lined up, Boogie. Tell me if I'm wrong here. I thought they were like, "I'm Tennessee, you're UTEP. We want the committee who we know are not watching games, but they're going to watch the highlight reels. We want the committee to see us make splash plays, okay? So we're just going to line it up and throw it. Well, the down the field passing's not been Tennessee's forte this year, and it wasn't on Saturday. So they finally brought it in. They went to the quick game. They involved the backs in the passing game, which I thought was a nice little wrinkle.
Love that.
They involved Sampson more. When you win first and second downs, you're running with tempo at this point in time, and you began to be who you were, and then from then it was off to the races. So I'll give the coaching staff a little bit of credit there. They made some in-game adjustments to help the quarterback out, and then that's all she wrote. But end of the day, what we expected, I don't care who you are defensively. You have 15 tackles for loss. You have 15 TFLs. That's really, really good, and that's a welcome sight after having only 2 the week before and no sacks. Tennessee did what it was supposed to, and it wasn't a great start, but it was a really, really strong finish.
Nico's just got to be more consistent, man. He's got to be more consistent. And somebody made a great point, and may have been our post-game show in the chat, saying that why not give him some easy throws to get him warmed up. Instead, it's no, you come out just like you said. We're going to take it down the field. We're going to take shots, and it's like get him comfortable, man. I even think, like we said about Joe, run him early, let him get hit, and then let Nico settle into the ball.
And
game.
Here's the thing too, and like I'm not trying to take a shot at Brew McCoy because I think he's fantastic, but like Brew's strength is not go routes, okay? That's Dante Thornton. That's anybody else. Like, that's not Brew's strength. He can certainly do it, but that's not Brew's strength. Brew's strength is slants, possession, go to the markers, turn around, let me catch it, let me go run you over, physicality. And they got Brew McCoy running go routes. It's like, well, I know it's senior day, and they did a great job of getting him in the end zone twice. They did a great job of focusing on Mike Matthews on one drive. They did a great job focusing on Ethan Davis on one drive. I'm going to give the coaching staff credit. I do little Cainer grades every Monday on Locked On Vols, and I gave the coaching staff an A. I thought they did a really nice job, but it was just kind of weird. Like, if you're going to run a go route, throw it to Dante Thornton. Don't throw it to Brew McCoy.
With this super chat, I have no idea how to pronounce this name.
I'm not going to try.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you for the $2 super chat.
My guy.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah. Thank you, my guy, Chief big guy. Like, don't come up and say, hey, big guy. You're basically coming up and saying, hey, fat boy. It's like, why are you calling me? Like, come on, man. Just say, hey, man. Come on. My guy for 2 says, bring Indiana, Notre Dame, SMU, Miami, Penn State to Neyland. Yeah, I think it would be huge, man. The atmosphere in Neyland for a college football playoff game. And you're talking about a coach that's lost 1 game in Neyland in the last 3 years. Neyland effect is real. Home field advantage is real. I ask everybody this, and I probably ask you this throughout the course of the season. It's like, we're seeing things about this offense that we like. All right, they're taking steps. They're doing this. They're doing that. Can they put it all together? Can we got 1 left? We got 1 regular season game left. Is this team who they are at this point? But if they are, I still think they can go into the college football playoff, and they can lean on defense, and they can lean on Dylan Sampson, and they can beat anybody in the country.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are exactly who they are at this point. High potential. They can flash on offense. They've got the big play ability. They got a quarterback that can do it all. They've got an offensive line that has struggles in pass pro, but is very good, run blocking. You've got an All-American tailback. You have an offense that is good enough. You have a defense that is above average. You have a defense that at times has been elite. And you have a difference maker in special teams. Jackson Ross has been phenomenal this year. Max Gilbert's been solid. Boo Carter has given this team an extra flair, and is, Brent Hubbs wrote about this on his 10 things on Sunday, and thinking about it, I completely agree. It's like Tennessee's been searching for a weapon offensively all year long, like a spark plug. That's been Boo Carter on punt return, right? It's like, 38-yard punt return, 19-yard punt return, setting Tennessee up inside the 20, setting Tennessee up inside the 5. He did it against Mississippi State. He did it against Georgia. I mean, he's been phenomenal. So, yeah, I think Tennessee is exactly who they are at this point in time. But I'm with you. That's good enough, in my opinion, to win some games in the playoff. Now, their limitations are also reasons why they're going to get beat at times. Not being able to play on the road, and/or penalties, and/or lack of consistency down the field passing, or if you have a defensive showing like you did against Georgia. But yeah, I think that Tennessee can certainly make the plays. I think Tennessee can do all that. But at this point in time, you kind of are who you are on offense, which is not the most explosive team, but a pretty solid, especially running football team.
It's funny coming out of the UTEP game. I didn't think we would be talking about how good our punter is, but he was, man. He was so good. And Arkansas ball saying starting 2 out of 3 drives inside your own 5 is difficult, but then flip over. You mentioned Boo Carter flipping the field, but also the defense, man. Like just complimentary football, right? Pin them deep, play good defense, and then let your punt returner go and set you up. Yeah, you had 4 scoring drives that were less than 45 yards. So you look at Nico's stats, and it's like, well, he didn't throw for enough yards for me. It's UTEP. Yeah, that's because we were starting on the other side of the 50 for almost half of your scoring drives.
Yeah.
Still had 4 touchdowns. We all know Nico's got to be better. Dylan Sampson is that dude. He is the heartbeat of this football team. Would love to see him break that record. What's he need? 121 yards, I think it is, to break Travis Stevens' record.
Something like that, yeah.
Coming up against Vanderbilt. Think he gets it done?
We'll see. Historically, Dylan Sampson runs really, really well at Vanderbilt. So Tennessee runs really, 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 really well on the road. In the last couple of matchups, Tennessee's just ran all over Vanderbilt. So we'll see. I think very, and certainly if this is a football game in the fourth quarter, they're going to be riding him. So yeah, I'll go ahead and say that he's going to do it because the way this season's gone, they've had to need him to win football games.
I want to talk about Senior Day. You put out an article on VolQuest that we were all kinds of crazy speculation on this thing because this was before the game. It's people that are going to participate in Senior Day. And when I look at this, and this is where I'm interested. People who have no eligibility, we get it. They're gone. The ones taking part that do have eligibility, Charlie Browder, Don Bailey, JT Carver, Cody Duncan, Bryson Eason, Jackson Locke, Gaston Moore, Navy Schuler, Patrick Wilk, and William Wright. But then you go down here, your complete list. Did you include, like, James Pierce did not go through Senior Day? Is that accurate? Who didn't? Like, Dylan Sampson and James Pierce are the two. I'm like, did they or did they not go through Senior Day activities?
No, I mean, they're juniors. So
you can't, but
no, you
even
can't.
if, so they don't, so you have to be a senior even if you still have eligibility. Okay, I thought you could do it if you were an underclassman that was going to go to the draft.
Essentially, no. Like, essentially, you got to be a 4-year guy. So, if you're
that makes way more sense.
If you're a redshirt junior, so you've been in the program for 4 years, you probably already graduated. Like, yeah, you got another year. Will you use it? Will you not? You have the option to go through Senior Day. Obviously, true seniors and COVID seniors and all that. But yeah, true juniors, 3-year players like Sampson, James Pierce. Now they didn't have the option. I would assume that was the pending a playoff game at Neyland. I would assume that's the last game James Pierce and probably Dylan Sampson played in Neyland Stadium, but now they weren't eligible to walk.
See, I didn't know how that worked, and I would say, well, clearly I'm an idiot, but clearly not, because not one person corrected me when we were having this debate and conversation about – people were like, what, James Pierce didn't go through it? And I'm like, clearly we have no idea what we're talking about.
I should have put a line in there that said true juniors because whenever you were talking about that, I wanted to be like, well, Boogie, it's called Senior Day for a reason. But then again, I didn't write that sentence. So, but nah, they're just true juniors, so they weren't eligible to walk.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Timothy McGee for 5 says, Boogie, how many times have I said throw medium, throw to short, and use running backs for the passing game? I agree. I think they need to get the tight ends more involved. I love seeing a true halfback screen to Dylan Sampson, and it worked perfectly. I feel like they do this against inferior opponents, and then we go up against a Georgia or we go up against an SEC opponent, and we completely abandon that and go back to taking the shots over the top, running it up the middle. I don't know why they don't expand the playbook against teams like Georgia, hopefully against Vanderbilt on Saturday. Matt Mars for 5 says, JD made a good point, compared us to a 3-point shooting team in March. Nobody will want to face us because we can get hot if Nico hits some of those deep ones. I said it last night. If this defense shows up and they play up to their ability, and this offense shows up and plays up to their ability, Tennessee can beat anybody in the country. Tennessee will be. I don't think anybody can beat Tennessee if they go out and both sides of the ball play up to their abilities.
Yeah, but I mean, I can only think of a handful of times where Tennessee's hit a deep one this year, which is just mind-boggling, right? I mean, Thornton's got a couple. Brazel had one. I mean, it's just weird. Like, the down the field passing is just not clicked for whatever reason, right? I mean, Nico has certainly missed a lot of guys, throughout the course of the year. The receivers have also dropped several that were guaranteed touchdowns. Like, it's just kind of been weird. But no, when everything's clicking, absolutely. I mean, you saw how dangerous Tennessee is with tempo and running the football. And I just think it all starts with helping your quarterback out early in games, letting him feel himself a little bit. I'm with you, man. Let him run a little bit, kind of get that mojo going instead of just trying to get the home run immediately and then having to kind of work backwards. We've seen that too many times this year. We saw that on Saturday, but ultimately against UTEP, which is an inferior opponent, he was able to get it going.
All we got to do is go beat Vanderbilt. Just beat Vanderbilt. You know, again, I said it earlier in the show. You told me you beat Vanderbilt, you're 10-2 going to the playoff. I say sign me up 10 times out of 10. I'm going to come on this channel and pretend to have all this fake confidence that we're just going to go beat the brakes off of Vanderbilt. And I get it. The story is, oh, well, it's not your daddy's Vanderbilt, and they're not. And that starts with them knocking off Alabama, right? I mean, but you look at the other games, you look at their losses. Like they lost to Missouri, but they were in that. That game was a fight. They lost to Texas. They were in that game. That's a 3-point game. They lost to LSU. That's a 7. They were in some fights. So even though they've lost a handful of games, they were also in every single one of those losses. But statistically, they still just don't look like a good football team. What are your thoughts about the matchup? I know you've started your deep dive on it, and we all know it starts with stopping Diego Pavia, who's not healthy, banged up, shoulder, knee. Clark Lee said he's not going to be 100% until after the season. Still a dangerous guy back there playing quarterback for Vanderbilt.
You know, it's funny, man. You mentioned it. Like, if you look at statistically, this is still not a very good-looking football team, and you're exactly right, man. I mean, I went in, I started my prep last night. Vanderbilt is 6-5, already bowl eligible, and you go through those losses, like, man, right there against Texas, right there against LSU, right there against the overtime game, the double overtime game, Missouri. You got blown out by South Carolina, but who hasn't lately? South Carolina's playing really good football. So, but when I looked at, like, where they are, total offense, total defense, you know, rushing offense, right, you know, all that type of stuff, you know, towards the back of the SEC and almost everything, which is just mind-boggling to me. What Vanderbilt does very well, obviously the quarterback is just so dynamic, but what Vanderbilt does very well is they don't turn the football over offensively, and they protect the quarterback. I mean, Vanderbilt in 11 games has allowed only 14 sacks. Vanderbilt in 11 games has turned the football over only 6 times. They're pretty efficient in the red zone. So, you know, it's cliche, but they're kind of doing the little things right. And even though the stats won't blow you away, they've been in a lot of these football games, and they've won a lot of these football games because they just protect the football. Now, Diego Pavia is just fantastic, as you mentioned. I mean, he is everything for that offense, okay? He leads the team in rushing attempts, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and I mean, it's not even close. They're going to run a whole lot of RPO, going to run some read option. He's going to scramble. He's going to make everybody right. It's got a New Mexico State flair to it this year, right? Not only is Pavia from New Mexico State, the offensive coordinator's from New Mexico State, leading receiver, who's a tight end, Eli Stowers, is from New Mexico State. Not a whole lot of weapons outside of Pavia, but like he's good enough to make everybody right, and he does the little things right. So it's going to be a dogfight. Nobody in the world wants to play spoiler more than Vanderbilt beating Tennessee, keeping Tennessee out of the college football playoffs. They are going to be fired up to try to do that, but you know, Pavia, as you mentioned, not going to be 100%. They brought in Nate Johnson, the backup. He didn't throw a pass last week, but he played some. I'll be intrigued to see kind of how much he plays in this one as well.
Bringing up good points in the chat with Pavia and his ability to run, make plays with his legs. I think Tennessee, they started off the year pretty good against mobile quarterbacks. They did. And then Keenan Peely goes down. And I think that is definitely impacting Tennessee's defense, maybe even more than some of us are talking about. What does Tennessee do to limit that? You know, I know Rodney Garner is going to be on his guys. Stay in your lane. Stay disciplined. He was screaming that against UTEP. So, you know, he's going to be preaching that all week long. Do you do like who was it here in the chat? Like Dylan Elam said in the chat, do you put a spy on him? What's your game plan to try to limit what he's going to do with his legs?
Well, I think at times you can have a spy on them, whether that's a linebacker, whether that's a safety, whether that's Boo Carter. You mix and match the coverages back in to have a spy, but you don't want to, in my opinion, unless he's just killing you, you don't want to live with a spy out there. You want to let your linebackers and DNs kind of handle this. We'll see how that goes. Against UTEP, again, I think Tennessee just lined up, said we're better than you, and you know they got sloppy in some areas, both offensively and defensively. You saw Tennessee's edge rushers go so far upfield, like. You can't do that when you're going so far upfield. You're just allowing the quarterback to literally just step up and go. Okay, so you got to be disciplined in that regard. Like whenever you get in your pass rush, you can't get flushed up. You got to come down, keep contained, right, or make your move, but don't lose outside leverage. It's so simplistic. It's so coach talk, but you've got to hold your gaps. And I thought Tennessee in the interior as well got pushed around a little bit, or trying to get in the backfield so much, made a move and got out of their lanes. You can't do that this week. So, and you got to have better angles from the second, third layer. Jeremiah Thielander had a horrible angle on one of those third down runs from the quarterback the other day. Safeties coming down had to have good angles. You just got to play cleaner, right? I mean, this is nothing new Tennessee's seen. You just got to play cleaner, and Tennessee did not play clean in that regard on Saturday. But I honestly feel like it was just a little bit of a mindset, right? It's I'm better than you. Let me just try to go make some plays, and got sloppy at times.
Been the story all year long. It feels like Tennessee needs to play cleaner. They need to fix this, fix that, get better. But here we sit, one win away from going 10-2. Daryl Davis says, Boogie, are you really confident Tennessee can play up to its potential, given that it has yet to do so all year? You're spot on, Daryl. I have no idea. We got one regular season game left, and I'm still sitting here going, hey, can we actually play 60 minutes? I don't know if we can play 60 minutes. I play the clip from Heupel all the time, go out and execute for 60 minutes, but yet here we sit. That's the beautiful thing. That's a good football team. A good football team doesn't go out and they don't give you 60 minutes, but they're still finding ways to win. And at the end of the day, all that matters is winning. And if we go win against Vanderbilt, we are going to be heading off to the college football playoff, and maybe it starts to click. Maybe it doesn't, but we still keep leaning on defense and Dylan Sampson. Kaner, what is going on over at VolQuest.com and Locked On Vols this week outside of David Sanders news? I texted AP last night.
We'll see what's
texted
going
AP
on.
last night. I said, I just want you to know, I feel sorry for you, man. You do a great job. I felt bad for him. Had to pick him up, and he's probably like, "Why are you wasting my time?" But anyway,
Who you said that to Matt or AP?
The AP, because all the David Sanders stuff. It's
just, I mean, again, briefly, it's like, welcome to 2024. You know, everybody wants a punching bag. Oh, Josh Heupel. Oh, Glenn Ellerby. I mean, it's nothing short of a business trip, and you're seeing it all across the country. And I don't think this is anything Tennessee did wrong, and we'll see what comes of this, right? Nothing might come of this, but certainly you don't want to just sit there like, oh, he's just going up there to see a game. No, it's not that, but this is recruiting in 2024, especially a high caliber player. So we'll be patient. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out of this visit to Ohio State, but obviously kind of a sick feeling in your stomach a little bit there. Covering that, what we hear, all those, all that on the General's quarters. I mean, basketball's happening right now. Tennessee in the college football playoff rankings, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. We got a full week of content, even though the holiday is this week. We'll still be rolling over there at VolQuest.com and on Locked On Vols podcast. There's no better time than right now. There's a lot going on.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll catch up later in the week. I guess we'll have to call an audible. I don't think we're going to record on Thanksgiving morning, but just hit me up and we'll knock it out.
We'll knock it out on Wednesday, Boogie.
Sounds good, brother. Appreciate it.
See you, man.
All right. Let's check this out, by the way. We got brand new merch. Got to plug this. By the way, I forgot to mention last night. We were trying to give away a free shirt, and I completely forgot to mention, so I'm going to mention it now. We did the T-shirt giveaway, I think it was a week and a half ago on the Wednesday night show. There were 39 people that entered that contest. The lucky number just so happened to be 16. Is that a sign? Is that a Peyton Manning? Regardless, it was Evan Counts. So shout out to Evan Counts. I have no idea if he's in the chat right now. If he's catching this on the rewatch, hit me up. You won the T-shirt giveaway. Jody Wooten for 5 says, if Georgia loses the SEC championship, do you think they get in with 3 losses? We were talking about that a little bit earlier with Kaner, and I'm going to beat this drum until I get called home. Yes, they should be in the college football playoff. You should not be penalized or punished for going and losing your conference championship. So whether it's Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, or Florida, I don't care. You go to the SEC championship and lose, you deserve to be in that college football playoff. Go check out the brand new merch, bonfire.com/store/Talkin Balls. If you're ever on here hanging out and got Coach Jay in the house, he sometimes forgets that he is muted. So we had to create a shirt to remind him that he is muted. So that merchandise is now available at bonfire.com. We've also got this. You guys asked for it. You guys demanded it. You guys said, Boogie, we want a camo shirt. Now there is a special edition State Pride camo shirt. I don't know what the deal is with the quality. The price went way up for this one. So I priced it as low as possible. I don't know if it's the material. I don't know if it's how thick it is, but State Pride camo is available. We also got big boy sizes. You guys have been asking me, Boogie, when are you going to get sizes for the big boys? We got them, but I'm having to go through each design and add it. As of right now, we're starting at the top. We're adding up to 5XL across the board. We've also got Buck Fama and FUGA in the 5XL for the big boys. But if there is something that you want that's not available in the big boy size, hit me up, shoot me a message on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and we will get it added for you. Bonfire.com/store/talkingballs. Link, as always, is in the description below. Otherwise, Coach Jay would never remember it. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. Without you guys, this show does not exist. I'm not doing Monday mornings with Cainer if I'm working a 9 to 5. So if you're not a member, you don't have a power T beside your name, think about hitting that join button. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, a link in the description for that as well. Let's move on. You guys know what we do here on Mondays after we hang out with Cainer for about 30 minutes. We jump on, take a listen to what Coach Heupel had to say immediately following the game. So we're going to take a listen to his post-game press conference. And then if you guys got a question, you know what to do, how to pay the bills around here. Drop a super chat, and we'll go wherever you guys want to go. But let's see what Josh Heupel said. Let's see if his mood is a little improved. Let's see if his mood changes after a win over UTEP.
And I will call. Coach?
Great day to honor our men and women that serve in our military. It was awesome to recognize them, have a couple of them walk with me, but so many of them on the field today. Thank them for everything that they do. Awesome to recognize our senior class. These guys have meant so much to this program. When I first got here, kind of resetting this program, building this program, what it looks like to be involved, what it means to be in the building, and have done an unbelievable job of helping us grow, and couldn't have done it without them. Great leaders, great players, most of all, great men, it's a great group. So I'll open it up for questions.
By the way, don't act like in the chat, don't act like you guys weren't just as confused as I was. I did not realize only seniors, although senior day, it all makes way more sense now. Senior day. But I thought if James Pierce was going to go to the NFL, he could participate. I thought Dylan Sampson could participate, but apparently we have no idea what we're talking about here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. But, man, you look at this senior class, just guys like Don Bailey, John Campbell. And I talked about John Campbell being willing to move from the left side to the right side because Lance Hurd was coming in. That's a VFL, man. Dane Davis, a guy that it's almost like having Gaston Moore in that quarterback room. Dane Davis is a veteran guy that's played a lot of football, a lot of SEC football, man. What a valuable asset to this team. Guys like Cooper Mays electing to come back. Brew McCoy, Keenan Peely, man, there's so many great stories from the seniors on this football team. And I love the quote from Cooper after the UTEP game. He said, I think this senior class left this program better than we found it. And I think that speaks volumes, man. And that's why I keep preaching to enjoy the ride, enjoy 10-win seasons. They don't come often. When this senior class came in, I mean, we were celebrating 7 wins. We were fighting to get bowl eligible. We thought that's what it was all about, just get bowl eligible. I remember getting bowl eligible and jumping online to buy Music City Bowl tickets because we were bowl eligible, and that was something to celebrate. Now we're ready to burn down the program with a road loss to Georgia, who's not lost at home in 5 years. Like, that's why I say celebrate it. Remember where we came from. And, man, you look at the senior class. Man, a lot of guys on this team that just VFLs. That's it, VFLs.
Start with Rob here on the left.
Coach, just second quarter, what started clicking for Nico, specifically the offense as a whole, for the just went on a run?
Yeah, I really didn't say anything about the ball game. Probably should have started that way. Like defensively, just gave up a few plays, some yardage, but played really well from the jump. Offensively, just a little bit off in some ordinary, simple things, and that's quarterback. It was offensive line, a couple of our targets, and a couple of those drives were starting, inside the 10-yard line too, and so it's a little bit different than being in the normal field. But once they just settled in and did ordinary things, which you guys hear me say all the time, but once we started doing the everyday things consistently, all 11, had a really good day. Created explosive plays. We're efficient in the run game. Created some explosive plays there too, and efficient in the red zone. So proud of that. Just settling into the ball game after not our best start.
David, then Austin.
It's got to be maddening to him because he just keeps saying the same thing over and over and over. And you can call it coach speak and call it whatever you want. It's true. It takes all 11 guys, right? You got Squirrel wide open down the seam. Nico misses him, a missed block, a drop pass, like whatever the case is. And that's why when we talk about putting it together for 60 minutes, man, if Nico hits Squirrel on that seam, what's the game look like? Because I think after you got through that first quarter, Nico was dang near perfect. Nico played great after you survived that first quarter. Can they put it all together? I don't know. We got one game left, boys. One game left. Sean Cross is in the house. What's up, brother? Drops a $5 super chat. Says, good morning, people. Good morning, Sean. It is good to see you in the house. Appreciate the super chat. There's no doubt Tennessee can go beat Vanderbilt without having to put it together for 60 minutes. It's just the reality. They can go lean on defense. They can go lean on Dylan Sampson. If we get a Notre Dame, if we get a Penn State, if we get one of those type teams, I think we can beat them living on this defense and living on Dylan Sampson. But can we beat an Ohio State? Can we beat a Texas? Can we beat a Georgia? Can we beat one of the elite teams in the country? Can we win a national championship? Not putting it together for 60 minutes. All right, let's hear more.
Josh, you always talk about controlling what you can control, which you did out here, but there were some other things that happened this afternoon that really worked in your favor too. Have you talked about that? Did you just talk about that with your team?
What were those things? I don't know.
Ole Miss got beat, so that's their third loss, and Indiana got clobbered at Ohio State.
I said it. There's a lot of football left to be played. We've seen it. We've lived it, both sides of it. It's about controlling yourself and preparing and going and playing good on Saturdays. And I'm proud of the way we handled this week. Heal up this afternoon and tomorrow and invest and prepare in a great way and practice in a great way. And then we need to go play great football. And next Saturday is we take the field in Nashville.
Do you really believe that? Do you really think that he had no clue that Florida beat Ole Miss? Because they announced it in Neyland Stadium and the place went bananas. Now, again, he's got a headset on. He's worried about the play. He's managing the game. I get it. But still also, I think Coach Heupel probably looked at the screen, probably pulled the phone out back in the locker room. Oh, yeah. I get it. Control the controllable, but at the same time, I think he probably knew. He probably knew that Florida beat Ole Miss. Cajun Ball, we've talked a lot about this, but I'll address it again. It's more than that. David Sanders didn't just go to Ohio State to watch a game. David Sanders didn't go to Ohio State just to take a visit. David Sanders didn't go to Ohio State to peer recruit. David Sanders is there for business. He is there over NIL-related stuff. Ohio State is making one last sales pitch to David Sanders. It is a concern. It is legit. It ain't just, it's a casual visit. It is a legitimate thing. Now, David Sanders can make the decision he wants to make. I posted the clip all over Twitter and Facebook, my opinion on it, how I feel about him selling committed T-shirts. I already spoke on that. But don't take it lightly. Don't act like it's not something else. It is. Again, I put out all the updates, everything that Austin Price has kind of talked about and said about it. It's a concern right now. It is, but we'll see what happens. Again, just to reiterate, AP said it is agent driven. Now, it's not about, Tennessee offered X amount, so Ohio State offers Y amount, so now Tennessee needs to come back with Z amount. There's more layers to it than that. So take that for what it is worth. What's up, Carson? Good to see you in the chat. Says, easy day on the job site. Got to tune in for a few. And he tells you guys to smash the thumbs up. Appreciate it, brother. Coach Jay confirming that coaches never lie. Never would they lie. Sword the Demons calling bullcrap. Coach Heupel 100% new. I love the reaction though. What are you talking about? What happened? I had no clue. You don't think those players were celebrating in the locker room because they knew they had new life Like they knew.
Special teams, y'all really thrived today. Boo just seems like he's changed the punt return game for you guys, and then Jackson Ross had a couple of really good ones. Just what's been the difference the last few weeks? And once you got Boo in there, do you feel like that's kind of sparked that unit?
He has made some big explosive plays. The guys up at the line of scrimmage have done a great job of getting him started. But he's the right combination of control and command. And I'm going to say playing on edge, reckless abandon a little bit, you know what I mean, on the right side of that era. Just done a really good job back there. Wants to catch the one clean today.
Well, the first thing we need to do is.
But it's a huge part of the game. Field position matters so much. It changes calls, it changes scenarios so much. And the return game was big. The one kick return we had, thought the guys up front did a really good job. Peyton did. Obviously, Boo, explosive plays. And then, our cover units in particular, punt, did an elite job of pinning them. And Turbo just, banging it out of the back of the end zone, something you don't take for granted.
Up front with Adam and Pat.
I'm a big-time YouTuber, Dylan. I didn't know I was a big-time YouTuber. I can't afford YouTube Premium. Gage Revis has been a member for 10 months. We appreciate you, Gage. Randall Perry's been a member for a year. Thank you, Randall, for the support. Appreciate you as well, brother. Randall also drops a $10 super chat. Says, it kills me when fans blame the offensive coordinator for the offensive struggles. Receivers have been running free for 2 years, and for whatever reason, they don't connect. So, to me, it is an execution problem. I agree with this 110%. 110%. Like, on the flip side, if I was going to counter argue, if I was going to play devil's advocate, if I was going to agree with somebody criticizing the offensive coordinator, it's get more creative, right? Get more creative. I would like to see them use the middle of the field more. We saw that early, then we went away from it. Use the tight ends more. Use the running back in the passing game. I like the true, legitimate halfback screen to Dylan Sampson. Why can we not call that more? Like, especially early in the year when your offensive line is struggling. Why not call a halfback screen? I don't get it. They could be more creative. However, like Randall says, when you've got guys running free, when you got Squirrel wide up the seam, wide open, when you got Dante Thornton wide open and Nico drops a dart on him and he drops it, look, man, just go out and execute. Go out and execute and make plays. The plays are there to be made. Like, guys have been open all year long. That's why I've never – bought into the fire Joey Halsey, fire him now, fire everybody, fire him, fire her. Lord have mercy. We got a shot at 10-2 in the playoffs, and we want to fire everybody. So, yeah, I don't get it either. I agree. Spot on, Nelson. They do. Yeah, it's not just Nico. It's everybody. But Nico has to be better. Nico would tell you he has to be better. Nico's got to be more consistent. I feel like this is a Tuesday night, and we're talking about Sammy Brown committing to Clemson. Every person that comes in the chat asks for a David Sanders update. We gave one pregame show. We gave one postgame show. We gave one last night. I made a video. Actually, if you want to know what's going on with David Sanders, watch the video I dropped on him yesterday. That lays out the entire story about David Sanders. That's probably the easiest way. If you want a David Sanders update, check out the video. I think it's what's going on with David Sanders. What's happening with David Sanders? Are we losing David Sanders? Go check out that video. That will explain it in detail, in depth, all the things that you think it is. I will have a counter argument for in that video. So go check it out. No problem, Connor. I just don't want to keep going back into it. So that's the easiest thing.
Josh, back to the playoff picture. It sets up a Vanderbilt game where we think win and you're in, lose and you're out. How do you, as a competitor, like big stakes in a game like that?
The better you play, the more you win, the bigger the games get. Doesn't matter. So, for us, this is the next step in our journey. Laser focused, how we prepare, how we practice, get ready to go play. And you're going to have to play well. And you need to play well in all three phases in this one.
Josh Brew didn't have a touchdown before coming into this game. Gets two today. What's that like for him in his final?
Yeah, we've just been a little bit off on some opportunities, quarterback and him. And it was great to just see him get those opportunities, take advantage of it. But, man, special to see him finish it out that way today on senior day. He's meant so much to us and to this program and to me.
On that, Josh, I was going to ask about Brew too. How has he handled sort of this season? I mean, it's a guy who had a bunch of yards a couple of years ago, had some injuries and stuff. How's he kind of battled through the season of not having the numbers maybe he wanted?
Man, Brew's one of the greatest team guys I've ever been around. Will do anything for anyone. Will play without the ball in his hands as hard as anybody I've been around. Takes great pride in that. There's been some opportunities and we just hadn't connected on it. And, man, you watch him after one of those plays, man, he resets to the next play as well as anybody. And today was cool just to see him, connect and go finish on a couple of big plays. And really excited for him and his family.
Ben, front left.
Josh, what did you see from Peyton Lewis, and what do you like about what he's giving you right now? And also, what did you see from Cam getting in there late?
I thought both played extremely hard, ran physical. For the most part, did a great job of hitting holes. There's a couple of them that, he had an opportunity to either press or to bend back on, but they ran physical, man, pad level, strain. Thought both of them played extremely well.
Is Nelson still in the chat? That's very interesting. Why did your boy – that's your boy, Nelson. That is your boy, Ben McKee. Ben McKee. Why? He mentioned Peyton Lewis. He mentioned Cam Seldon. I mean, Khalifa Keith started his Heisman Trophy campaign on Saturday afternoon in Neyland Stadium, averaging almost 10 yards per carry, 9.8 yards per carry for Khalifa Keith, 4 carries, 39 yards. Start the campaign now. Khalifa Keith for Heisman in 2025. You need to go tell Ben to put some respect on Khalifa Keith's name. He should have been mentioned with Peyton Lewis. He should have been mentioned with Cam Seldon. I just had to say that. It just slipped his mind. just slipped his mind. Just a casual slip. Just a little slip up. Ben slipped up. That's all right. That's all right. Man, I'll tell you what I love. I'm excited about the future of that running back room. All those guys. When Deshaun Bishop gets back and is healthy, assuming Dylan Sampson goes off to the NFL, Deshaun Bishop is a dude, man. I never thought him being out was going to be a problem. He's going to be a great running back. Peyton Lewis is going to be a great running back. And as much as we have, questioned Cam Seldon, I think somebody brought this up the other night, Cam Seldon being hurt, right? That kind of set him back some. But now that I thought, and I get it, it's UTEP, but I thought that was the best Cam Seldon has looked. He ran physical, he ran violent, and yes, I understand the level of competition, but that's the best I think he's looked since he's been at Tennessee. So give Peyton Lewis, give Cam Seldon, give Deshaun Bishop a full offseason. Woo, that excites me about this running back room, boys. It excites me. It was a room that I questioned going into the 2024 season, and now even with the, Dylan Sampson, if he does go off to the NFL, I'm still excited about that running back room moving into next year.
The back with John.
Coach, you talked about Brew meaning a lot to you and some of the other seniors throughout the year. Why is that they mean so much to you?
I mean, these guys. When I got here, right, there was a lot of the outside noise around this program is way different than it was when I started. And that doesn't happen because of me. It doesn't happen, simply because of assistant coaches. They're a huge part of it too. And it's got to be from within the locker room. And, when a lot of guys left, they chose to stay, believe in this program, wanted to be a part of this program, believed in me, trusted enough in me to help build this thing. And it takes a special person to do that. And these guys are special. And, you look at the success that they've had on the field. I don't know, this is second year in 3 years that I think we've been undefeated at home, and it's they're a part of, and we're not there, right? But this is a storied program, and they put it back on solid footing.
Questions?
But by the way, Dylan Sampson, like, it's not confirmed that he is gone, but it is highly, 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 highly likely that he is going to the NFL. I think me and Cainer, I don't remember if we talked about it on Locked On Vols or if it was on this show last Monday. I mean, we rattled off those 4 weeks in a row where he had like 27 carries, 26 carries, 29 carries. And, you know, you got a pitch count. You got a pitch count when you're running back. You know, time is crucial. So he needs to get to the NFL as soon as possible. If anybody around him is probably going to, like, what more could he do? Like, what more could he do if you're going to break the single season rushing record at Tennessee? You need 121 yards, I think it is, to do that. You go run for 150 against Vanderbilt on Saturday, go out with a dub, go out with the college football playoff run. Why not just go out with a natty? But what more can Dylan Sampson prove to the NFL? So even if his draft stock is not as high as he wants it to be, I don't think there's anything else he can prove at Tennessee. So, yeah, I fully expect him to go.
Finish here in the middle.
Yeah, just real quick, Coach. I haven't seen the participation report, but you got a lot of guys in the game. Can you talk about how meaningful it is to get some of those younger guys and maybe some walk-ons and those kind of people into the game in live action?
Yeah, I think we're like at 120 guys inside of our team room. They all work and compete the same way every single day. They all have to live up to the same expectations. Meetings, practice, weight room. You know, some guys receive more, I don't know, public attention because of their play on the field. But, man, everybody's invested in the same way. And the opportunity to get young guys in the game, some experience, walk-ons, whatever, whoever, it's important when you get those opportunities to do that, and you want those opportunities because they've earned it, man. They've sacrificed as much as anybody.
Thank you, Coach. We'll have players shortly.
There it is. Well, all we got to do, go beat Vanderbilt. Let's go play in the college football playoff. We're going to break that game down more in depth on Wednesday night for Talkin Vols Live. Don't forget tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 6:30. Come on, go ahead. Come on and challenge me. Head-to-head in EA Sports College Football. Also, it's fun, man. Like, we got about 300 people that tune in on this Monday morning show. I know sometimes the audience in the morning is different than the audience in the evenings, and that's just because of schedules, life, work, whatever. Man, come hang out on Tuesday night. Yes, I'm playing video games, and yes, it's laid back and silly and goofy at times, but the college football playoff rankings come out while we are live. While I'm playing video games, the chat is watching the College Football Playoff Committee on their TVs. They're watching me on their phones. They give me the teams as they come out in the rankings, and then we kind of break it down and talk about it. It truly is like hanging out with your buddies watching the College Football Playoff rankings be released. So I get it. If you don't like video games, you're like, why is that's just silly. Boogie acts goofy. He acts like an idiot on Tuesday nights. All that is true. We'll talk about Christmas tree cakes and how great they are on Tuesday nights. That's what we do. But we also talk Vol football. We also break down the college football playoff ranking. So the 300 of you that are here right now, come hang out on Tuesday nights, even if it's just for the first hour or two as those rankings come out. It's always, always, always a good time, and we enjoy it. Smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Make sure you guys share out the link again. Let me do it again. I'll throw it back up there again. The brand new merch that just dropped on bonfire.com/store/talkinballs. Go get in where you fit in. These, if you order within the next couple of weeks, they will be there in time for Christmas. So if you want one or you want to buy one for a loved one, go check them out. Your Muted Coach J merch has dropped. State Pride 2.0, we added big boy sizes in some of these up to 5XL. If you want a shirt and you go to click on it and it doesn't show, you got to go out here to the end. Where's it at? There it is right there. Heavyweight tee up to 5XL. If you want one of those and you don't see the Max Heavyweight tee design, message me and I will go in and personally add it so you can get that. We got the brand new State Pride camo hoodie. You guys asked, we delivered. There it is, bonfire.com/store/talkinballs. All the links are in the description below. Appreciate you guys. I got to run today. The little man's got a Thanksgiving party, so I get to go hang out with a bunch of 4-year-olds and eat who knows what. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a good time. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.